G'day, Trent here, and we're down here at Culinary headquarters on Green Terrace, and I'm going to be showing you the secret to the perfect pork belly. This episode of Cooking with Trent, the secret to the perfect pork belly, is brought to you by Gearing's Butchers, the butchers I use at Cookin and Bluff Point shopping centres. So the first thing we've got to do, we've ordered our piece of pork belly, a kilo. Now it's still got the pork bones on, so all we're going to do is going to remove those belly bones. So it's a case of sharp knife, and if you've got a very friendly butcher, he will do this for you. I just wanted to show you how to do it yourselves. Very, very easy. Okay. So we have our piece of pork belly. I've just trimmed the bones off there. I'm just going to sit him back on our tray. Okay, now the marinade is very, very simple. We've got some fresh sea salt. Good half tablespoon of black pepper. Teaspoon of garlic. And a good couple of sprigs of thyme. Okay, so in our mortar and pestle we've got our garlic, the black pepper, thyme and sea salt. We just want to roughly pound it. And I'm going to smear the underside of the pork with this lovely garlic and thyme mixture. Okay, we've marinated the flesh side of the pork. Now, the trick to the perfect skin is I've let this sit in the fridge overnight, uncovered. Now it may seem a bit strange, but while I'm doing that is I'm letting the fan dry out the skin. Okay, the drier the skin, the more it's going to crisp up. So all I'm going to do now is just lightly, very lightly, score the pork skin. So I'm just cross-hatching the pork. Just diagonal cuts one way and then diagonal cuts the other. And remember, it's not a deep cut, it's just a score, okay? So you just want to slightly penetrate the skin. And that's what gives the pork its distinctive crackle. So it's had its score. I'm just going to lightly give it some sea salt. Don't be scared of using too much sea salt. A piece like this, a good tablespoon and a half, okay? The sea salt draws out the moisture, and the drier the pork skin is, the more it's going to crackle. Okay, so the pork belly, we've marinated underneath with the garlic, the thyme, the black pepper and the sea salt. We've scored the skin, we've given it a bit more sea salt. Now we're going to pop it into an oven, okay? About 240 degrees for about 45 minutes. After the pork belly goes in, you don't really have to do anything with it, apart from just checking every sort of 10 or 15 minutes to make sure it's not burning, but it doesn't need any further basting or marinating. It's almost a set and forget. Okay, and now we're going to jump over to the stove and we're going to make the accompaniment an apple compote. Now, to accompany the pork belly, we're going to make an apple compote. So what we've got is we've got some Granny Smith apple that we're going to saute in a little bit of butter. Okay. So before we put the apple in, we're just going to put a couple of cloves of star anise and a teaspoon of mustard seeds. Now we just want to cook those mustard seeds until they start to pop, okay? That just takes away the bitterness from them and releases their flavour. So those mustard seeds and the star anise, they've just been sautéed off in the butter, and that's going to release some of that aroma. Tiny little bit of garlic, half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon of raw sugar. And this will help the apple caramelise. Okay, season with a generous amount of black pepper. sea salt, and just let that get a little bit of colour on the apple. Now, because pork belly is quite a rich, almost fatty dish, you want an accompaniment that's going to cut through that fat. So you want something slightly on the acidic side. I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of an organic apple cider vinegar. Okay, so the pork belly's been in there about 35 minutes. Oh, and that's just perfect. You can hear that, how crispy that skin is there. That is a gorgeous pork belly. Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful. Crispy pork belly skin, and the flesh is still nice and moist and still tender. Okay, to plate up, I'm going to put a little bit of an apple compote on the plate. You can even put a little bit of the star anise on there as a bit of garnish. Okay. Pork belly straight onto that. And then just a nice simple rocket salad. A little bit of fresh rocket. I'm going to drizzle that with a little bit of balsamic. Touch of olive oil. Throw a little bit of sea salt, and we're done. There we have it, the perfect pork belly, spiced apple compote, and a little bit of fresh rocket salad. Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Cooking with Trent. Be sure to get onto Trenton Digital Television and check out some more episodes. There's some great cooking shows of mine, plus some other great local digital content. Thanks to Gary Butchers for sponsoring this week's episode, and until next week, this is Trent.